Hello and welcome back. We are on our fourth episode already of the Quarter Life Crisis, and it's June. That's crazy. I'm still in Austria and I recently moved, and that got me thinking how much physical work that was and how extremely tired I was afterwards after carrying boxes the whole day, even though I had help from my family. But that got me thinking that I want to talk about something today that's a little different, maybe, and maybe also something that you have experienced in your teens, maybe still in your early 20s, maybe in your late 20s as well. And for some people, I feel like this is a topic that also in my case will probably stick with them beyond their 20s. I'm going to share my story around food, fitness, wellness, but I want to be very clear. This will not be a guide how to lose weight, how you should look like, how you should train. This will merely be my side, how I've dealt with my body and my body image in the past versus now. I feel like being active is a very important part of my life, a part that I enjoy tremendously, a part where I can find back to myself. When I was 9 years old, I attended a fitness camp for the very first time in Tyrol, which is approximately 3 hours away from me. And it was a time where I had just gained a lot of weight. I was always a pretty tall girl, but still I weighed too much for the size of my body. And other kids would also notice that and made fun of me. My mom found this fitness camp where I was all about activities, rationed meals, learning about the food pyramid in order to help me understand and deal with my body better. However, I will say back then there wasn't even social media around. And I feel like that's a huge part of the conversation as well, because it's a diet culture that I grew up in, that people still grow up in. And it can really mess with your head, especially if you see that constantly on your phone. So I'm super glad that I didn't grow up in that period. Research shows that almost 50% of teenage girls and young women engage in unhealthy weight control behaviors at some point. And if you get an eating disorder, it's most likely to occur between ages 15 to 25. And that is just so young compared to your lifespan. You just start out and then you already have huge baggage to carry around. It's making me sad. So I think awareness is really, really important. Anyways, coming back to my beginnings. So I stayed at that camp for 3 weeks. I was all by myself, even though the camp was full of other teens and kids who were overweight and who were trying to learn more about a healthy relationship with food and with movement, essentially. And I did lose some kilos, but after couple of weeks after returning home, that obviously didn't stick because I didn't understand really still the calorie deficit part of it, and also emotional eating as it was in my case. 2 years after that, I went back to that same camp. The result was pretty much the same. I did lose weight, but I also gained it back. It was really a pivotal moment because I fell in love with sports. I absolutely fell in love with movement, and I decided to join a gym membership when I was 13. Also, at that time, I was kind of obsessive about food. I would just almost eat nothing, an apple a day, even though I was going to school, doing my regular stuff, my regular work, and I was so disciplined. And I remember how I felt when I was just so lightheaded and dizzy almost from not eating, but also proud at the same time. I was way too young to be at war with my own hunger. I just truly obsessed over it. I wanted something to shine at, to draw attention away from the times where I was bullied. And I really loved school and loved learning. This used to be the thing that I would excel at, where I would really achieve good grades to deflect from being different. And now it was the gym. This was all my focus. It wasn't really about health anymore. It was about control, about changing my image. And when I look back at those old pictures where I have tiny, tiny arms and tiny, tiny legs, I feel something very complicated because a part of me understands that Selena, that version, very well still today, understands why I did what I did. And another part is sad because I know that I always felt like I had to eat less, train more, to be worthy, to fit in, to love myself, and to be happy with my body, even though our body is something that is so incredible as it is already. And I'm so happy that I've overcome this and that now I feel way better. But yeah, I spent too much time obsessing over food. Things would make me fight with my mom. if she didn't get the low fat yogurt, but the high fat yogurt. I would think that she's so selfish, not caring what I needed, even though if you're on this trip, you're on that trip. And it changes how you act with your environment as well. I was 16, 17, everything was going great. And I was actually also building a healthier relationship with food over time because my image from being skinny to becoming strong shifted quite a lot during that time. After a couple of years of training with a low calorie intake, I was finally allowing my body to have more food, more nutrients. But then I gained 20 kilos in the span of 3 months. And that was awful to me because I didn't change anything. I didn't change my fitness routine nor what I ate. And I went to see several specialists that mostly dismissed me. It was way, way more than just those numbers on the scale for me. It was basically losing everything that I had worked for the other years. Finally, I got a diagnosis of PCOS, which is the polycystic ovary syndrome. And for everybody who doesn't know, this is a hormonal dysfunction that affects a significant number of women back then. That's already 12 years ago. There, roughly 5 to 10% of the population would be diagnosed with PCOS, but the numbers are actually way higher. And it makes a whole range of things more difficult. Having a regular period, mood swings, losing weight, and also, everything that is related to hormonal imbalance, basically. People just don't take it seriously enough, or in my case, I felt like I was just left to figure it out by myself. Essentially, they told me I should just lose weight, and I came to them because I gained the weight in the first place. So that was not really a satisfying answer or help at all. I was a teenager navigating this without anyone really sitting me down and telling me this is not my fault and we will figure this out together and you don't have to worry. But then I did worry and I tried everything. I even tried hormone replacement therapy, which means that a body that was already confusing to me was getting even more confusing because there were just medical variables that I didn't understand at the time. I felt incredibly alone, defeated, and frustrated back then. And I still went to the gym a lot. I didn't only see it as my outlet to lose the weight, essentially, that was needed for me to have a normal weight again. It was just a ventil. It became my place where I could just let out all my emotions, all my anger, all my sadness, but also happy moments until I hurt my lower back. When I was 20, I had my first slip disc, which is not common. I had heard about people having Bandscheibenvorfall in German at the age of 45 plus, and I was half that age. I remember getting the diagnosis and having the images shown by the doctor, and I was in there alone in that room, and then I came outside and my mom was waiting for me there, and then I just ran into her arms and cried because it was really immense pain. It was so overwhelming. I couldn't bend down to wash my face in the morning. So it's just taking over your life at that moment. Sadly, it has happened 3 times since. People are not exactly sure why I suffer slip discs that frequently, but genetics play a role. I'm rather tall. The distribution of my weight on my body has a factor on it. Basically, there is no real explanation. But each time that this happens, it costs me so much time, physiotherapy, weeks of recovery, and also money. It's such a slow and deeply frustrating process for me to build back my mobility, my stability, and also my trust that actually my back is fine and that I don't have to go through this again. If you don't have a functioning lower back, sitting hurts, walking hurts, dancing hurts, running hurts, laying down after a long day at the office hurts. I feel like it completely shifted my perspective on what my body can do, what it should be doing, and how I can influence it. I just want to wake up pain free because I know the alternative, and that alternative was taking away literally all of my happiness. And I can say this at 28 with sincerity. So if you have a lower back that is bugging you, watch out. Do your exercise, do your core work, see a specialist, go to physiotherapy, train less, train smarter, look out for the right posture while you train. Just take care of your back. That is really my greatest goal as of now, to just not hurt my lower back, because especially since I love to dance, this is a real big passion of mine. I had to sometimes take a pause for up to 6 months, and that's just really horrible as well, because you lose the progress, you lose the connection, and you lose that freeing and liberating feeling of just dancing your feelings out. So where did that all leave me? Having to rebuild my back, going through hormone therapy to get my period back, and more that I did left me with a completely different relationship with food and with my body. My body is not a project. It's not a before and after photo. It's not a problem to be solved or optimized all the time or to be improved. It's the vessel that I have to be on this planet, to explore this planet, to, well, feel strong from movement, to feel soft from movement as well. And I have to take care of that, and I have to treat my body accordingly with all the breaks that it might need. My language changed. In the past, I would always say I have to go to the gym. It was a to do. And now I just say I want to go to the gym, or even I need to go to the gym, because I know that after a good training session, I will feel much more like myself. I eat food because it brings me joy. I don't eat food for function. Sometimes I might, because it's important to get your protein in nonetheless, because this is also part of a healthy body. But I don't track my food and go crazy if I have a day where I'm supposed to only eat 1,800 calories and then I end up eating 2,300. I don't want to spend my thinking capacity on what I eat all the time and not being able to enjoy social gatherings when I'm invited to a birthday party or when I'm celebrating a wedding. But this shift, that letting go of control, letting go of that obsession over food, that took me years. I still catch myself on some days where I just look in the mirror and I start to talk in a really disgusting way to myself. And then I stop and I choose kindness instead. It's so much easier. Intuitive eating, which is something that is also cultivated for years, and at least in my case. And it's the basic principle that I don't forbid my body. Once I forbid it something, I just want it all the more. My body doesn't like being controlled like that. Instead, I'm trying to listen what it wants, what it needs. And this is super interesting also now that I have a regular period back, that I can see, especially during certain times of my cycle, that I really need more water or that I crave sweets. That's very obvious. But sometimes it's also wanting to be really healthy, or my hunger is just not that deep on that day. On the other days where my body is just like, Selina, we need snacks, we need walnuts to function right now, then I give in. That's the important part. It's practice, it's listening, and it works in a way that control just never did for me. I'm really happy that I could integrate intuitive eating into my days. Also, I get my blood checked regularly. I know this might not sound super sexy or glamorous, but this is important because you need data in order to know what your body might be lacking. So in my case, I check my thyroid, my iron, my hormones, of course, so I get the full picture. This is something that can help your whole system work better. Furthermore, investing in quality is very important. So in my case, I try to buy organic where possible and also try to focus on seasonal foods. The more attention I pay to my food, where it comes from, the more connected I feel to what I'm putting in my body. I really exercise for fun, not for performance. So I realize for me, gym is really fun, but also, like I mentioned, dancing, yoga, of course, also trying out new things, maybe cycling, maybe swimming. I don't think golfing is for me, but maybe basketball. Finding something that you do because it makes you enjoy movement, because that will help you stick with it so much more. Don't buy into social media. Social media is very unreal. And so the only profiles that I follow are either those of my friends, and if it's an influencer, they're usually very body positive and very open and honest and transparent about their journey, about their struggles, because everything else I feel like is just toxic and it's not correct. Confidence is sexy, way sexier than being a size 32. Just own the room and you will see what a difference that makes. And being open, having an open body language will also change how you think about yourself in so many ways. And there is no reason to hide yourself ever. Lastly, I would definitely say also check your food language. There is no such thing as good or bad food or cheat meals. I think this is all language that can very much lead down the road of self-restraining food. I want to close this episode by saying something to whoever needs to hear it. If you grew up being told either directly or indirectly, maybe even by your relatives, your family, a doctor, or the whole diet culture, that your body was a problem, it's not and it wasn't. And I think it's very important that whatever relationship with food or movement you created that might not be positive, it's not your fault. And it's also not permanent. You can literally start today making better choices for you and for your body to heal whatever is inside you that doesn't feel right now. And I think there are days where my old critical voice comes back, and this requires choosing to look the other way, to be your own cheerleader, to be kind to yourself. And it sounds rather simple, but it's actually not. And I've been there and I see you. And if you have any tips how you overcame your relationship with food that wasn't positive, or how you found love for your body, for everything that it can do, I'm so curious to hear. On that note, I'm gonna end this episode now because guess what? It's dinner time.